let's have a look at how to succeed in placement. And that's a weird title probably for you guys. But placement is everything. Like where we place the photo bar or the rest of our services in relation to the event or the people who are about to access it is really, really important. We could do an event with 800 guests and get 100 photos, or we could do another event with 800 guests and get 1,000 photos, all depending on where you place the photo bar. It's quite simple. If you put the photo bar far away from the event or where people are, they won't see it, they won't think of it, and they won't use it. So, place close to the action. What is the single biggest reason why our fotobaristas misplace the photo bar? People or fotobaristas end up setting it up where they're told. And we're actually a little rebellious on that area. We try to go against the flow. Most people have a preconceived idea of what we do, and that idea is usually not the best way to do it. Often what people associate the photo bar with is with a press wall in the entryway to a venue. We are not a press wall. We hate press walls. They're the most boring thing ever, and so what Fotobarn is, it's like a bar. You would put the bar in the location where the people are. You want people to be able to access it freely and have like a free line of sight to see it from where they are 90% of the time during an event. So, yeah. So, good answer, and it's right because a lot of then the contact person has a preconceived idea of where it should be, and they'll have you put it there if you don't resist. And that's where we teach our fotobaristas to do a calculated decision. And this is where we can't really help you. It's up to you to find out where is it that I should be putting this so that it can be in the best possible placement. So I'll draw an example from this weekend where one of our fotobaristas wrote a report. He had come to an event with 800 guests, and the client said that in the foyer of the building, this is where the guests are at the first hour. So he sets up the photo bar there, and then as the event progresses and the people move into the hall where there's going to be entertainment and other things, bars and such things, he notices, of course, a big drop in the amount of people who come. People still want to use it, but the truth is they don't see it, and so maybe the stragglers, the people who go to the bathroom or take a smoking break, are the ones who will use it the most. So he goes to the contact person and says, I have a suggestion. You have booked this till 11, and the first hour was very popular, but now it's quiet. So my suggestion is, and I see in the venue there's plenty of space. Here's my suggestion for where it can stand. Can I move it in there? And could I have someone to help me to do that? And so the contact person ends up giving him one person who can help him move, and they move the photo bar inside, and the event is a raging success. But if he hadn't moved it in, that would probably be half or less than that. So we also want to allow the client, we want to encourage the client to get the max potential out of what they have paid for. And as much as many clients would think that this is great just to have the first hour, it's actually great to have for the whole evening if they allow for that to happen. And sometimes I will fight if they say no, I will just leave it here. I'll say, look, there's no good reason why it shouldn't be there. I'll say it in a nice way, in a respectful way, and affirm his side of it. And often these managers of big events, they're very, they need to have a plan and stick to it. If they don't do that, everything would fall apart. So I need to show my confidence in my decision so that he can understand that I'm confidently making a choice for the best of him, and that he, and sometimes even not even involve him. Sometimes I wouldn't even ask the contact person if he can supply someone to help me. I would go ask a waitress who's just standing around or who thought it was fun to try the photos in the start, ask, hey, can you help me move this? It's just there's a couple of things that helps if you're two people, which means you don't have to pack it all down and move it and pack it all up again. So this illustration of a hallway. This comes from the lobby of the hotel. You're coming from the lobby. This is inside here. They have a stage, musicians, lots of tables. And over here there's some sofas, resting space, a nice big window. And this is the door entryway into the venue, and where they're going to spend most of the time. They would have served the aperitif, like the drinks table and the start when people are arriving would be here. And the most correct answer for an event planner when it comes to telling you where to stand would probably be in this little space here. He said, oh, perfect place. People will see you walking by. And I agree, it's a great place. It doesn't take the space from where everyone will be. It spreads people out in the venue so that you get some like a little bit more of a natural flow. But as soon as everyone goes in here, the only people that are going out here are the ones going to the toilet. And you can't even see this through the doors if they were open. So
where would you move it?
Exactly, and then that's then the question. You would have to. So what we tell the fotobaristas to do when you arrive at a venue, get a good overview before you talk to the client. If you haven't gotten a good overview of the location, you can't really recommend anything. In fact, anything he says, you don't have a counter suggestion for him in advance. So check first, and then talk to the client after. Doesn't mean that you start rigging up and doing like things in advance, which means you have to move. But it just means make an informed decision before. Have an idea of where you would like to place it based on your knowledge and your knowledge of the product. And in here, there would be probably a bunch of options. Most event venues, there's almost always space. They'll often have bars like in the back. And so there's no reason why you couldn't be next to one, though we don't recommend standing right next to a bar because it often gets a little crowded there, and then we're next to it. But maybe say if the bars are on each side, it would be on the back there. Not in direct line of sight, but everyone knows it's there, and everyone sees that there's action going on and hears the laughter and the joy. But of course there are some exceptions. What do you think would mean it would be okay to stand here, assuming there was no space indoors? Which product do we have that solves that problem? Well, the way we do it is with slideshows. So when people arrive, the photos being taken, they're being uploaded to the slideshow, and inside here, you can run that slideshow on the screens that the venue has. Usually they'll have a stage with a screen, or someone on bigger events there will be some person who's the technical manager of the technical department, and he can help you get your slideshow up on a big screen. I have literally gone to the events sometimes and the client hasn't even paid for a slideshow, and I've said, just because I know that I have to stand here and not inside, and I know that that's going to mean 200 photos, not 400 or 800. So I've gone to the technician and said, here's the link to the slideshow. You guys have the freedom to do that. Of course, that's something you need to clarify with the client, like before they say the go, but I would often go and talk to the technician in the back and say, I have a link for you. Would you like to play a slideshow? Is it possible in your program? And then I would go to the client and say, I have a suggestion for making this super popular for the rest of the evening. I've set up a slideshow, no cost for you. Would you like to play the slideshow in between servings of the dinner and the dessert or something? And when you play a slideshow, people see all their colleagues, all their friends in the photo booth, and they'll also, of course, all be running out to try it as well. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if the product slideshow is not included, which we often try to include because we know it helps and it makes the experience even better for everyone. If it's not, feel free to do it. Like set up the slideshow and make that happen. But that is something you should do in advance. You should do it in the setup time. You should think, is this a good setup? Does it require me to have a slideshow, for example, or some other way of advertising this? Another thing I've also recommended Fotobaristas to do is talk to the conferencier. Or if nothing else, tell the client, the contact person, to talk to the conferencier and mention the photo bar, which is over there. That will often help, because if he says, all right guys, it's time to go and take some photos in the photo bar, boom, you already got yourself another 50 to 100 photos just from that mention.